And we're live. Hello, everyone. My name is Lois. I'm from Paranormal Paths. I hope everybody's well. As you can see tonight, I've no co-host. She's away to the pantomime. She's part of the pantomime guys, so she's away. So if you want to wish her a good luck, fingers crossed. She did say that she would pop in at some point. I just don't know what point. So tonight I am joined with Shelley Smith. She is the co-owner of
Uh,
Paranormal Footprints. Please forgive me my nervousness. So Shelley, how are you doing?
Hello, Lois. How are you doing? I'm fine. I'm actually looking forward to this. Good luck to Jacqueline doing the pantomime. I don't think I've got the courage or even the skills to do that. Neither I have.
I, I'm the same. I'm bad enough doing lives and trying to get my words out without standing in the stage in front of all these people. To turn around and like say words I just couldn't. Maybe when I was younger and the younger self, but no, not at 33.
No, I'm quite tongue tied. I get tongue tied quite a lot when I do these lives, but I'm never normally on the receiving end. I'm usually the one asking the questions. So this is all new to me. And of course, Sam, who's due to join us later on, isn't she? She'll she'll be popping in later,
As
hopefully.
you can see, guys, Sam's not with us. She's at work. Unfortunately, some of us to work, so she's away doing the work for us. But she did say she was going to join in maybe the last hour or something. I just want to give a quick shout out to Emma. Hi, Emma. Hi,
Hello.
Irene.
Hi.
Thank you, Irene. Thanks, Emma. Right, so do you want to tell everybody a bit about yourself and your team?
Right. So start off. I'm obviously part of Paranormal Footprints. Me and Sam founded the group in July. Um, we were with another team, but we decided that we wanted to go our own way, and so we thought, well, why not just start up ourselves? And so we did a wee bit of mind storming, and we came up with Paranormal Footprints. And through that, we had Johnny and Sharon, who was also in that team, who also decided they were going to come with us and join our journey. And and then of course we've got yourself, Lois,
Yep,
who's
my
also
good
a new
self.
member of the team. And now we've got two more recruits. We've got Jordan and Sophie. So these are the two new recruits. So it's not bad. It's built up quite well, but we're still relatively quite small as a
I think
team. But
I think for as far that you guys have done, I mean, I've got to say about you guys that, and just to tell everybody that obviously doesn't know about footprints, these guys do things for charity. They've done a couple of charity nights. I'll let Shelley tell you about the charity nights.
yeah, so the first time we decided, when we just started, we thought, well, listen, we want to do something different. So we organised a bus tour to Edinburgh, and we went to the City of the Dead, and that's the Greyfriars Kirkyard and the Underground Vaults. So we organised it with the manager of the City of the Dead tours, and we took, I think it was 26 people with us on a bus in October, and we took them to Edinburgh and did the Double Dead tour. Now, anybody that hasn't done the Double Dead tour or any of the tours with City of the Dead should really think about it, because they're an absolutely fantastic company. And so we had got all these people, 26 in total, and we went on the bus and did the tour in Edinburgh. But while we were organising that, we decided to organise a mega raffle, and we raised £500 for charity, and 250 went to the Royal Hospital for Children in Glasgow, and 250 went to the West FM charity Cash for Kids, and that just helps disadvantaged children round about the local areas. So we did that, and that was the first one. We'd never ever done anything like that in our lives before, but we gained a lot of confidence just by doing that ourselves. And then the next one was for a local lady. Her name's Mercy, and she runs a place called Fossil Fields Youth Action Group. And what she does is she's got a horse riding kind of stable. It's more so horse care. She looks after horses, but she encourages children up, and the children help to look after these horses. So it gains confidence in them, and it gains experience out working. So they're volunteering and helping. But recently, she's my daughter's been working with her for a long, long time now. And she's actually got my daughter enrolled in the racing academy, and she's gaining qualifications, and along with the other boy that works there. So she needs help with funding as well. So because she doesn't get any help from anybody, just because of for various reasons, I don't know. But she really struggles to get the funding. So we organised a spiritualist night with Sharon, who is our medium on our team, and Louise Finlay, and a few other mediums, and we organised the charity night for them, and we raised £1,300 for that charity.
I mean, you guys, I mean, that's one of the great things that I've got to say about you guys, that honestly, you do wonderful work, and it's a pleasure to be with you guys, you know, to be able to do that. And can I mention about next year?
You can mention, I can leave that back to you.
Yes. Guys, next year, we are going to do a skydive. I am absolutely looking forward to it. Do you know, I've been looking at TikTok, and I'm like, I never used to be a fan of TikTok, but I became accustomed to it. I just don't know how to work it, but I know how to watch videos, so that's the great thing.
I'm
So
a
next
chicken.
year, what?
I'm the chicken.
Oh.
So I won't be doing the skydive, because that's just no. I mean, I'm paranormal footprints. My feet will be firmly on the floor, and I'll just be taking the pictures and.
Do you know what? I'm going to be really honest, guys. I'm absolutely terrified of heights, but I'm so geared up. And what it is, guys, the charities for mental health. It's
Mhm.
Mind Over Matters, and mental health is like a close thing to my heart, guys, more than anything. So it's an absolute pleasure. So it won't. I'll be like putting my fears to one side and going diving, and I'm just so looking forward to it, guys. So where's
100%.
it will be. It will be. I'm actually really looking forward to it. So tell us, Shelley, where's your favourite place? What's your type of places to do
To go and
investigations?
investigate. Right, I'm getting a wee bit of feedback here, Lois. I don't know.
It's probably myself. Right, how's that for you?
Well, aye, that sounds a lot better. So anything really, anything old and dark, which just basically sums up everything, really. But I went to an old asylum on Tuesday night, and what I could take away from that was the feeling of just the history. You know, you actually had a sense of what it was like for them in there. And I'm not meaning by just because of what the building looked like, because the building's in disrepair really badly. So it's just basically walls and graffiti. But when you're getting the evidence coming through, just hearing the words that are coming through, and you're relating that to how they felt in the day when they were stored up there and mistreated and stuff like that, that got to me. But anything I mean, anything witch related, really, you know, that is my thing.
I
Just
mean, I know exactly because I've been at the location myself. I know exactly what you mean. I mean, it's one of the locations. You know, I've always been used to investigating castles and things like that, because, as everybody knows, Scotland's full of castles. There's like
exactly.
260 plus castles around Scotland. Um,
And a lot of
and
them are close to us as well, Lois. I mean,
oh,
we have got
aye,
a lot of castles
there is.
round
I
about
didn't
us.
actually realise how many castles were actually in, because we stay in a town called Ayrshire, and it's just out. To put it next to like a place that people might associate would be Glasgow, just outside Glasgow. And there is it's mind blowing how many castles is
Yeah.
actually in Scotland.
And the history, because when you're asking me what places I like to investigate, well, there's nothing better for me than local area, because we have got the killing time, so the Covenanters. We've also got it's widespread with witches. We've got Robert Burns, we've got Robert Bruce, we've got William Wallace. These are the things that I like to study and then investigate. I love to learn about my local history and to be able to go and follow in the footsteps of legends, which is what we're all based upon. I mean, sometimes when you'll see it as following in the footsteps of legends, and that's kind of what we're all about, really. So,
Hi Jax, I hope
hi.
you're well, my darling. Lovely castles in Scotland. There's no newbies here. Everybody's just the same, my honey. Everybody's got to learn somewhere.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I've been in a few castles myself, and I've actually investigated in a hotel. It's a castle up in Peebles.
Right.
It'll actually be an idea for the team. Because what they say about Peebles is a witchcraft town, and there's a lot of activity in
Mhm.
Peebles. And it's really, really, really good. But going back to obviously when you were investigating on Tuesday, I mean I must admit
Oh.
it's the closest to Waverley Sanatorium I'll ever get. It's definitely, and it's one of the ones that that you would need to go up there probably more in the summer when it
Yeah.
goes from day to night, because
One hundred
obviously winter
percent.
nights you're not getting that same feel that I got, and the feel that I got when I got to that place was, you know, I didn't really get much when it was daylight, but as soon as daylight turned to night, it was though, oh wow, that is
Yeah.
almost like somebody's changed the atmosphere.
I think I'd quite like to go and visit the place through the day just to get a better idea of what it looked like, actually, because when we went, it was pitch black and it was soaking wet. It was pouring down for the heavens, really. So we were kind of stuck to one place where we were sheltered. But we went with the Scotland's um, paranormal investigations group, and wow, it was so refreshing just to like they had a lot of equipment with them, um, and wow, just the activity, just the experiments we were doing that brought out the words. But it was like a double ghost box, and
Hmm.
we both had Johnny and Sam on, and they had earphones in. They also had blindfolds on, so we were asking them both questions. They were then linked up to the separate ones, and we were asking them questions, and they were bringing out answers relating to the questions that we were asking. And not only that, it sounded like they were kind of having conversations to themselves. Hi, Kaylee.
Hi, Kaylee.
Yeah, Kaylee was with us. Kaylee was with us on Tuesday.
That was an investigation I was supposed to attend, but I was no well. But I mean, do you know, I was at that place, and do you know something? It was like I couldn't believe it, and the the emotion I was getting, the whole, it was mind blowing, and I actually could hear people walking round. I'm good, Kaylee, thank you.
100%. We
Um,
were getting the exact same. We felt as though there was always somebody round about us because we were hearing all these voices, and it did sounded like there was somebody,
mhm.
there was people outside. But you know yourself, it's a way up a big, massive hill, and it's way up the road, and
See,
it was pitch
I
black.
wasn't exaggerating about that hill.
No, you weren't exaggerating about the hill. I think I had to stop halfway up it. I mean, I was smoking really badly, and then I regretted it when the way up that hill because I was like, no,
As
I can't cope. I can't cope.
I mean, I wouldn't have liked to been a patient there trying to escape, because honestly, that hill is
Oh,
just something else.
I bet it's running down the hills easier, isn't it?
Well, running down, and may I say, it's next to the Celtic training ground, so for any Celtic supporters, that's your place to go.
That is definitely a place to go. Well, oh, the weather was absolutely atrocious. So for anybody to be hanging about outside, it just seemed a bit mad. you know.
I know it
So
was.
we didn't understand where these voices were coming from. It really did sound like there was people outside, but at the same time, it was pelting down, really, really heavy rain, and it was late at night. So on a Tuesday night, it just felt a
That I
bit.
mean that's what I call Blair Witch weather. That's what I refer to the Blair Witch weather.
It was a
But
bit like
yeah,
that.
I mean my experiences there, it was like people were walking right round me,
Hmm.
and do you know I felt it almost at one point where I actually could see. It's like out the corner of your eye that you see
Uh-huh.
somebody just walking, and there's only about how many is,
Yeah,
and you're just like, and it's one of the places where it's in a quite a remote area, so it's no like, you could debunk it with, oh, aye, but it could be this or it could be that. It is very, very remote.
very, very remote. I mean, we couldn't even find it. We had to rely on the other team to meet us so that we could follow them up. Definitely a fascinating place, and definitely one we want to go back to. But the Vaults, Edinburgh, that is another place. I love it. My go-to place, the one I want to investigate is the Mary Kings. I've just got a fascination with that place. I really, really want to go and do it. I want to
Uh,
investigate in there. That's fantastic in there.
Jack says St Andrews has some good places. I'm pretty sure I've got a photo of little Bella that joined us on the ghost tour. She was in the area the nuns are normally picked up on.
Fantastic. Was that the Cathedral, Jacks?
That actually sounds really, really good. But definitely Edinburgh. I've only investigated ever in Edinburgh once, and that was it was at a nightclub. It's just up for the old Ricky Tours. It's called
Right,
the Hive.
right, okay, uh-huh.
That was good. There was plenty of spirits in there, but I didn't get to see that side. Unfortunately, I was just there investigating, but it was definitely it was good. It was good, and it was good to be in Edinburgh because I always feel connected with Edinburgh. I love going to
Aye.
Edinburgh. I'm like a big child when I'm in Edinburgh because it's like wow. It's just I love Edinburgh.
I don't know if it's because Edinburgh has always been one of the main cities. Like a lot of people would have travelled to Edinburgh for certain reasons, like years ago. I don't know if that's why everybody's got this pull towards the place. I don't know. There is a pull towards Edinburgh that I can't understand. Like the first time I went, I felt like I could quite easily live there. That I didn't really want to go home, and I've always wanted to stay there. That's always how I feel. And just being there, it just fascinates me with all the old buildings, all the history, and I think because you've got the jails up there, obviously people were taken up there for the to be executed and stuff like that. You know how like generations going past. Obviously, I'm a big believer in life after death and reincarnation, so that your past lives, and I think that's why everybody gets the pull to go back because at some point or
Mhm.
another they've had that connection with Edinburgh. Really,
Mhm. Jack
Sir
says St
Sir
Leonard's
Leonard's.
School, St Andrews.
Ah, right. So the cathedral looks quite good in St Andrews as well. There's Sophie from the team. Hi, Sophie.
Hi, Sophie. Edinburgh. Emma says she's been to a few places in Edinburgh, but Edinburgh's like one of. I suppose. I mean, past lives. I love past lives and I love learning. And I got two sorry done. And one of them was really intriguing because it made me realise, all right, well, this is why I like this now in
Exactly.
this life.
Yep.
um and it's funny because there's like I've always been drawn massively to America. I've never been able to pinpoint why America.
Yep.
But I absolutely love America. Anything to do
And
with
has it
America.
never came out in your past life regressions? No.
Well, I kind of touched on it, being in America, but it's one of the ones that I've got loads of friends there in America, like absolutely everywhere, scattered all over, and my good friend in Texas, she keeps saying, "Louise, come to America," and I'm thinking it's one of the ones. I go to America, I know I'm no coming home.
Oh God, aye, because again, you know that many people over there, and that would be your life made. Well,
You
if
know,
you ever
it
fancy
is.
going to America, just put me in your suitcase. I'll come with you.
You'll be the first one in there, darling. It's amazing. The spirit activity is crazy.
Not
Not
all
all
good
good
though.
though.
But that's
Um,
another thing. I mean, you get like obviously your spirits, but a lot of people associate like bad spirits with being like poltergeists or demons and stuff like that, don't they? But
aye,
I generally just think
it
that
is.
if you're going to be bad in this life, there's a good chance you're going to be bad when you go as well. You
You
know?
know, do you know, I always joke with people. I mean, I tell people what I do and everything, and the first thing you always gets like $1 million questions. And I mean, they're like, have you seen something? Blah, blah, blah. Did you get a tag? Blah, blah, blah. And do you know, I've always said that, if I was a spirit, I wouldn't appreciate being a show monkey. So,
No.
do you know, I'd be one of the mischief ones where did I leave that K2 meter? I'm sure I left it down there, and I'd be the type to move it just to
I
be
think I
caught.
would just enjoy that day.
Oh,
I think I would
uh,
enjoy that as well. So Sophie,
Sophie, it's amazing the history you can find out about an abandoned building through spirits that are attached to it. Look forward to coming to the next investigation.
we can't wait to take you an investigation, Sophie. Honestly, Sophie's been telling me such a lot of places about the Black Isle. You know, I've been going to Black Isle for years, and I've never really associated. I don't know if it's because of the. I really don't know. I've just got a connection with Inverness and the surrounding areas, but definitely the Black Isle. And we've been going up there on holiday for years since I was 11-year-old, and I'm in my 40s now. So, um, I just love the place. But Sophie has set herself goes up there every year, and she's been telling me about a few places that I really feel like I want to go and investigate now that I never knew even was a place, never even knew existed, and I'm so looking forward to getting up there.
Jack says these were just some unhappy souls.
Which is a shame, isn't it? It really
I
is.
know. You do find that. I mean, I've been out investigations where you get happy ghosts, you get happy spirits, you get sad spirits, and you do get a lot of ones
Hmm.
that want to cross over, but then you get your other ones that are just too set in their ways and they don't want to.
That's right. Well, I'll take you back to a story when I was 17, Lois, right? When I had went with my friend and we went to visit a kind of private let. She was leaving her mum and going to live with herself because she had her daughter there and she just wanted her own space to bring her daughter up. And we left to go down and view this house. She just wanted to go and have a wee look at it to see what it was like before she committed to taking it on. And we got down to this house and I swear the place just looked really bad. And my words to her was, it was like the House of Horrors. And
Oh,
certainly I knew that how it felt to me. But see, when we got in the house and she took it on and she started to live there, wow, never in my life did I ever think I was going to come across something so scary in all my life. And I was only 17 years old at the time, 17, 18. Um, and that really got me, that, that, that got me more exploring the paranormal rather than just experiencing it because I had experienced stuff before, but nothing to this level. You know, I had seen like a ghost, a spirit cat once, and I'd seen like spirits at the back window, and I'm sure I'd seen a spirit lady up in a window before as well. You know, it just always had that feeling where the paranormal's where I want to be. You know, I've always had an interest in it, but this house was absolutely mental. We actually, the first thing we had noticed was one night I had stayed with her and I was looking up. We were lying in my bed. It was late at night, and the light shade was swaying. And I thought, my goodness, that's actually swaying. And I was saying, does that look like it's swaying to you, or is it just my imagination? And she says, no, that is actually moving. And there wasn't any reason for it to move. It was sitting in a house no windows open. And I thought, right, okay, I'll just leave it at that. The next night was swaying again, but this time my shoulder got touched, so somebody went on this shoulder here, and I was absolutely blown away, thinking, "Wow, right, what is that? I've just been touched in the shoulder." And I immediately, obviously, asked my friend, I was like, "Did you touch my shoulder?" They were lying in a double bed. She's not going to touch my shoulder because she's going to think then she's coming on to me or something like that. Do you know? I thought, seriously, she just touched my shoulder, but she says no, it wasn't me. And then that was me. There was no way it could have been her because she would have had to put her hand all the way around the back of my head to grab my shoulder.
And
I thought, well, I've just been touched. And I thought, at that point, I knew there was something. We weren't alone in that house. But it just went from bad to worse, really, because the amount of activity we were having in that house was unreal.
Oh, wow.
So,
See, that's one of the things.
It went from just that to the light shade going to getting touched to then one day we were in the kitchen, and the front door was locked. The front door to the house was locked. You walk through the front door, the stairway is in front of you. You turn right, you're in the living room, and then you go through the living room into the kitchen. And in the kitchen, there's a wee door. Now, the door leads to the bathroom. And we were in there smoking because she's got a daughter, and we didn't want to smoke anywhere near the daughter. So the daughter was in her pram in the living room with the door shut. Now, minding our own business, no even bothering. And we heard this running. And the running came louder and louder, and the living room door get pushed open. The door flung back, almost hitting the bathroom door. We get a fright. We run out looking to see if anybody was in the house, but of course the front door was locked, so there was no anybody that was able to get in the house. But we heard the running. The pram had got moved. The kitchen door had got open. We were in the bathroom. We ran out and there was absolutely not a soul there. And we knew that there was somebody else in that room in that house.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, the activity just grew and grew and grew for there. And I mean, I would be there all day just telling you all about it. But that is exactly why I search for the paranormal. That's what gives me the thirst to contact spirit. Because at that time, I never had phones.
Aye. I just would quickly want to apologise to Yvonne. I'm so sorry, honey. I don't know what's happened. Because I did share it out. She's been trying to find us.
I think Sophie had a little problem as well.
Can I just say that I am not taking any sort of way, and Jacqueline usually sets this up. So if tonight's a bit upside down, back to front, I do apologise. I can't apologise even more, but hopefully everybody actually sees it. But
Sure
hello to everybody that's joined us. So going there, how, I mean, you must have been thinking in your mind at that point, what is it? And I suppose that's one of the things about the paranormal that attracts everybody, because it's like, you know, when something happens, you think, is it me? Is it?
Aye.
What's going on?
At that time, we were really young, and the adrenaline. Oh, there's Sam already. Hi, Sam. She's in the car.
Hello, dearest.
I don't know if she can hear me. She's muted her mic. Hello, Sam.
Sam.
No, she's away again.
She's away again.
So what I'll do, she's going to try and pop on, but she's not getting a signal.
Probably not. But yeah, as it's like one of the points that I'm just messing about with the settings, guys. That's it.
So at that age, we were thinking, wow, terrified, out of our wits, because these things were happening. You know, light shades were getting pulled off the walls and everything. Bedroom doors were all getting slammed open, running up and down stairs and stuff like that. We were absolutely terrified. But at the same time, kind of gets your adrenaline going as well. You know, but at that time, I never had a phone, but I could just record all these things. I never had any devices. Certainly never had any apps back in the day. So I couldn't do anything to actually back it up. But now we have got all that stuff. So for all
Yep.
we can experience, we have our own personal experiences, our
Mhm.
own personal thoughts and feelings, and senses. To be able to back it up nowadays is absolutely a fantastic thing, in my opinion. By
It
use
is.
of equipment, and
Sophie
that's what
says.
drives me.
Sophie says, I saw a headless man at around 5, 6 year old in a field that I can't even say that. Can you
Up
say
at
that?
Aye. So she saw a headless man at around 5 to 6 years old in a field up at Cannock, around half an hour from the Black Isle, and no one else in Car did. We were then told by a resident that a man had gotten in an accident that led him to being decapitated years and years ago. Remember every detail of him, and I'm not sure. I don't know what the last bit was. That was Lois. I'm not sure
Sorry.
if I told you, Shelley. She did. She told me this, and it's just made me more determined to go up there.
Do you know what it is? I mean, we've all had experiences, and I've had experiences myself where I've sat and I just didn't know. And I mean, for a young age, I mean, as you know, children, as everybody knows, children can pick up things, and they're at that age, and people think, oh, it's imaginary friends, but you question how much is it actually imaginary
Yeah.
friends, or how much are they actually seen? I mean, when I was younger, my mum told me this. She told me, that I used to talk all the time to people. Well, obviously talk to
Uh huh.
what they thought was myself, and they took me to the doctors, and the doctor said it was a child's thing. But then I
And
look
that.
back at it now and think, was I seeing spirit at that point? I mean, I had my first experience when I was 4, and I can remember it like it happened yesterday, and I can still describe what I seen at the bottom of the bed.
Yeah.
And I think when when you're that young age, you're just like, question yourself. Like I did, like for years, say to myself, did I actually see that? No, I did. I know I did. And then it was like the curiosity was there. Well, the light came on, it disappeared. Like how does that
I know.
work?
I know. I know what you're saying there, and there's so many people can relate with that, and it doesn't matter how it must sound so crazy. It sounds crazy to me sometimes when I think about the thing what I saw. But then Sam will come on and she'll tell you exactly what her first experience of the paranormal was, and like for me, I think that's crazy, but um, everybody's got their own experience, and I mean, I
Uh-huh.
really don't want to have to say my experience because that's even more crazier than Sam's.
Jack
I've heard
says, I've always picked up on spirit, I've just kept it to myself. I've been told by so many mediums that I've seen that I've picked up on my ability that I need to be working for spirit. Sometimes I'm so open to it, and other times my senses shut down.
that's very. A lot of people will feel like that. They'll feel like they want to explore. They feel that they have, and actually, do you know what? Everybody on the planet has the ability. It's just over years they've lost that ability.
Well,
Some people do keep it.
I've always believed, that they'll always you're always what I was always told was everybody's born with a sixth sense. There's
Hmm.
nobody in this earth that's not born with a sixth sense. It's your choice if you decide to run with it or not.
Yeah, of course
And
it
I
is.
suppose when I was growing up, it was kind of like I couldn't talk to my mum and dad about that. Like I couldn't turn around and say, "Oh, Dad, Mum, I'm into paranormal. I like the paranormal."
Yeah,
At that bit, too, I was a bit dubious, and I'll admit I used to be skeptic. Even though I was having experiences, I kept doing the old it's I'm going crazy sort of style and thinking to myself it was just a dream and it didn't happen.
yeah,
But I suppose as more of the experiences were happening to me, the more I was actually believing. And when I lived in a homeless house in Ayr, that that's where it really began to hit home. No, I am actually having experiences because I was actually in the shower one night, and I'd actually thought it was my friends had let themselves in and they were fooling about
yeah,
because I seen a figure run by. Because the way my shower sat, it was like the shower sat there and my mirror sat like just across.
yeah.
So, but it had the mirror image that you could see what was happening out in the hall. So I generally thought, my friends are fooling about, and I'm shouting hello and I'm me. And then I got like towel, scurried out, right? you know what it's like,
Yeah.
banter with pals, you know, right? If you're there, blah, 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 nobody there. So I went in, so the light bulb blew, and I went, oh, you know, I need to get light bulbs some more, blah, blah, blah. Now, I was a good distance away for the light switch, you know,
Hmm.
and it just came back on itself,
Wow.
and it freaked me out, and then the light started to sway like that, and I was like, oh, okay. And I actually phoned my friend, and I'm like, this has just happened. And do you know, I was actually, it made me really nervous, and I actually got myself, like, got my legs up, and I
Yeah.
kept looking at it, and it kept
Terrified.
going, and then eventually it stopped. But all that, like, after that, I was like that, oh my
Did that
god, I'm like, my light blew. If a light bulb blows, it can't possibly come back on by
exactly?
itself.
Exactly.
And it
No, no.
actually made the sound like it had actually blew. So I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, how's, no, this doesn't quite.
It
And I
doesn't
tried
add
to
up.
sit and do a skeptic's way, right, it could have been this, it could have been that, it could have been electrics, could have been that. And then I thought to myself, and I went, no, I actually blew as if it had, that was the
Yep.
end of the light. So
Yep.
for that to come on by itself, I'm just like, oh my god.
Well, one of the times, I mean, see in this house, see the amount of activity I've had in this house. I mean, I've lost count the amount of paranormal experiences I've had personally throughout my life. I've just lost count. Um, but I can never ever ever say that anything's been as scary as being in that house. Because that feeling you would have got when you seen that, you thought, oh my god. But you know you've got to stay there. There's no escaping it. You know?
Aye,
So you're just kind of keeping it to yourself and just like hoping it's not going to happen again, or even like even you want it to happen again, but you'd rather have it happen when somebody else is there. We had
aye.
we had a light bulb actually just explode in here. It was we had a wall light, and my husband had just got up and walked through to the living room door to go upstairs. And just after he got up off the couch, the whole light bulb shattered. It actually just exploded. In fact, no, sorry, I kid you not, that was a separate time. It totally popped out of the light bulb popped out of the thing and landed on the couch where he'd been sitting. Um, and then in another occasion, I was telling my stepdaughter about what happened, and we had literally just been taking her to the hospital because she'd fell and hurt her ankle. And I had already told her about this story about the light bulb coming out, and I kid you not, the actual light bulb was again sitting on the couch by the time we get back for the hospital, and there was no light on. It wasn't like the light was on. There was no reason for it to come out, but it did come out, and it was pretty much validating exactly the experience we had. But it was there was a kitchen light that actually exploded all over my kitchen, and again it was because my husband had walked away for the kitchen. So,
Wow.
and just the other night, where I was lying in my bed in here, and I heard, I can't even explain. I couldn't put it into words what the noise was, but I can only describe it as. Uh, but it was really quite quick and it was really quite eerie, and I've never heard that before. And also the other night when I took a pit when I was sitting and my daughter was sleeping on the couch, and I could hear clinking. You know how like the beads you get on in the doctor's surgery? You know how the wee
Uh-huh.
toys you get and it's got the beads on it? Well, it was like
Mm,
the beads getting clinked together. And I thought
mm,
it was a distinctive noise and I could hear it. And I thought, nah, and I took a picture and I started recording as well because obviously I got a phone now, I can do that. Um,
mhm.
and I sent it onto the group chat, and Sharon sent me a picture back, and it looked like the face of a wee girl. And she says to me, Shelley, I can hear Mama at the beginning of that video, but I couldn't hear it. I really couldn't hear it at all. And it wasn't until the next day Sam says, Shelley, you can hear Mama at the beginning of that video. And she let me hear it again off her phone. And sure as fate, that's exactly what I heard. So for
Wow.
me to hear the noise, take the picture, get the face, and then hear,
Mhm.
And obviously, because
Wow.
I've lost children in the past, it's basically them coming back and saying, I'm
Bless
here,
you.
Mum. I'm here.
Oh my God. Bonnie says, when I was younger, we could not talk to anyone about it. I didn't understand it at all. Thought I was going crazy at times. It was refreshing when Most Haunted was on and people started talking about it more. It was crazy how many people had experienced so much and never spoke about it. And I suppose it's true what you're saying, Bonnie.
Hmm.
Back in the day, you couldn't talk about this time
No,
day because you were considered crazy. And I mean, as I said, my mum and dad, they were like, I couldn't really talk to them about anything. They would have talked to my pals about anything, came I mean, in that
I know.
sort of way. So it was, I suppose, as years went on, I ignored it. And then the more the experiences were happening, it started to go in my head to why was this happening? And I suppose it is down to Most Haunted. Now, I'm not really a person, as everybody knows, that I'm not really into ghost shows. Like, that's no how it started for me or things like that. Like, I didn't watch Most Haunted or things like that. And I can honestly say I've never ever watched an episode of Miss Haunted.
Really?
I haven't. I straight a hand up to God, never ever watched. I my thing about ghost shows is that you hear a lot about ghost shows and people. I suppose to get the viewings, you're going to have excitement. It's like
Yeah.
soaps. They couldn't have no excitement and no making it as much as thingy.
Aye.
For me, ghost shows never appealed to me. It wasn't, I maybe when I was younger, Scooby Doo and things like that. That was my ghost shows back then. But the ghost shows never ever really was a thing for me. Don't get me wrong. When I started talking to Andy Jones, and I know I'm great friends with Andy Jones. I think the world of the man.
Yeah.
And he was with well, he still is with, he kind of co-founds it with Dave Harasny. I can say Dave Harasny's name. For ages I couldn't say his second name. It was so funny. I just used to refer him as Dave in Enter the Unknown Paranormal. Um, and, when I started watching them guys, I was like, wow, this is actually really, really good. And then I thought to myself, I'll watch one, I'll watch the other. And you know how it falls into you watch one, you watch
Of
second, and then you
course.
get into third, and it starts becoming, you know, the whole shebang. So I was watching it and I thought, do you know what? I actually really, really like this. So I went on to Enter the Unknown Paranormal and I put my hands up and said, for a lady that wasn't, well, for a woman that wasn't into ghost shows, I actually really like this. And do you know, that's the only ghost show that I think I've ever watched. But I'm actually starting to broaden my horizon and starting to go and view other shows and things like that because
Yeah.
I've got that Paraflex. And for anybody that's looking for a good site, it's Paraflex. It's actually really good. Don't quote me. I think it's either $3.39 or $3.99. It's either one of the two per
Yeah.
month. But for what you get on it, really, really good. I highly
There's actually
recommend it to
a
MD.
lot. It's inundated with paranormal shows. Paraflex, so it is, and it is quite a good platform if you want to watch, if you quite like to watch all the programs. Um, but of course, it was obviously Most Wanted that started me off, and I'm pretty sure most of the team started watching that as well. But over the years, we just watched that many programs, and like you said, they really condense all the kind of highlighty bits into the shows. So, but it's not real like that, isn't it? Not because you could
Mhm.
spend a good 3 hours on a location, or even like 6 hours on a location, and not get anything, you know. But
I
that
think
doesn't
that's
make
the
good
problem,
TV.
and I think also when I was in a like another team. Well, we at the beginning when I first started out, my first ever team that I was in, and the owner of that team was doing interviews to bring new people on the team,
Hmm.
and so he made up these questions. I'll never ever forget it. And one of the questions was, what brings you to the paranormal, or why you want to do paranormal? Either one of the two, right? And it was a guy that sat in front of us, and he says and it was as straight answer as you come. Yep, I love the paranormal because of the shows, and I just, I looked at them, and I'm like quite a hard person to hide my facials. I'm one of these people that facials should shut up sometimes and don't show, but it shows. Sort of
Yeah,
facials, and when he said that, I just rolled my eyes because it was like what I wanted to hear was because I've got the passion and because I want to come and talk to spirits, help spirits and
yeah,
things like that, you know. And I'm thinking to myself, he's going to be like thinking to himself, yeah, because I've even experienced that. I've been out with people that just kind of look at you when things don't happen, and
yeah.
you could be sitting there for hours, and they're just kind of looking at you as in, why is nothing happening? And it's like, it's no like the shows. You don't.
Aye.
I mean, we've been out and things have went flatline, and well, apart from we had a special guest on the last one, Bat, which
Oh, the bar that was a funny one. Lois said it certainly made up for the lack of spiritual activity in that castle. Really,
yeah, I mean it does, and if I could reach out to anybody that wants to do this, then do it for the right reasons. Do it for the
yeah,
fact that you are
definitely.
passionate. Do it for the fact that you do want to help spirits
Aye,
and
and
things.
be
Don't do it
respectful as
because
well.
the shows.
That's right. And you need to be respectful as well because I mean you're going out there, you're not wanting them just to interact with you just because then it's like kind of to make you look good. Do you know? It's no that's no the reason why we do this. We do it because we generally feel that there is answers, there is stories to be told.
Hmm.
And these stories come from the people that we're trying to investigate, we're trying to contact and make contact with spirit just so that we can, I don't know, really get to know their side of the story.
Jack says the male spirit I had in Glendale Crescent smashed my shower screen by pushing it over. He used to blacken out my son's baby cam too. I had to move out. He didn't scare me but always wanted to be seen or heard, and he didn't want to pass over.
That's really interesting.
You have some spirits that are like that. They're just that are so happy at where they're at that they don't want to move over. I mean, I've dealt with spirits that don't want to move over, and do you know, I think sometimes when people do renovations, that makes it 10
Hmm.
times worse.
Yeah, and I definitely think but that house that we stayed in, we eventually had to go and we eventually got a medium in, and his name's Derek Ogilvie. Um, he was actually in Most Haunted, but that was well after we had met him. And he actually told us it was an old man that used to live in that house. And he really didn't like the way that we had, she had decorated the place and where she was putting all her stuff because he kept on moving things off the furniture. The ornaments would be on the floor, pictures would come off the wall. It really just didn't sit right with him because when you're elderly, you're set in your ways. You don't want things to be moved. It's not the way it was when you lived there. So of course they're going to feel like they want to just organise it. And actually, the things that he was doing in that house, they were terrifying. But he was there just warning us of things that was wrong in the house. Like for example, the time where he'd pulled the light shade actually off the wall and threw it down the stairs. Not just threw it down the stairs, but he actually zigzagged it up and down the wall and then threw it to the stairs, at the bottom of the stairs. And he'd done that because the daughter was in her cot and the covers was on her face. So for all
Wow.
it sounds scary to us that these things are happening, there's a reasoning behind it. So it's understanding that reasoning, and we had to go and find that out. So that's why we got a medium who was local to us at the time, and his name was Derek Ogilvie. Little did we know he would be on TV and have his own show and stuff like that. Never really thought that would happen, but there you go.
Bonnie says, I spent hours researching development and watching respectable teams who I feel do it for the right reasons. Respect, passion, knowledge. And I love and enjoy all areas of the paranormal. Bonnie, you're one of,
Yeah,
guys, if you really want to check out one of the good teams, Matrix, now let me get this right. Bonnie, correct me if I'm wrong. Matrix Paranormal is Vonnie's team.
Right.
I actually do development classes with Vonnie. She leads me down terrible paths. I try and behave myself, and she just makes me laugh. I love wee Vonnie. Could adopt
Oh,
her. But
Bonnie,
yeah,
that's completely right. Anyway, what she's saying, actually, I totally agree with that. 100%.
definitely. I mean,
It's got to be done for the right reasons.
do you know I've been heckled? Oh, sorry, I'll say it again. It's Matrix Paranormal UK. Go and check it out.
Matrix Paranormal
Sorry,
UK.
Bonnie. But people have heckled. You're the naughty one, Lois.
I believe you, Bonnie. I believe you, my darling.
Do you know she's spot on, Bonnie? I hope that's not me, Kelly.
No, I think she's talking about
No, I
her
know,
comment.
I know. I mean, people have heckled at me because I've went out. Well, every time I investigate. Now, I only think it's right, and I think it's pure politeness if you introduce yourself to the spirit.
Yeah,
Like, I always say, right, okay, maybe spirits at that time won't understand what I do, but it's only right that I feel, uh, it's good to introduce yourself.
of
So I
course.
do introduce myself. As you've seen it, I do introduce myself. I tell them who I am, and I tell them what I do because I feel it's only right that obviously that you do that.
I don't
But
know if
people,
you, I don't know if you've experienced this, but as well, like when you're out in investigation, when you get witch coming through, it's no because they obviously depending on the time period, the stuff that we are doing using all this equipment and things to try and contact spirits, and that's what they see. Anything that's no normal, you're classed as a witch. And I think
yeah,
it's always good to kind of try and explain what you're doing and what you're using, maybe just to help them understand as well.
talk about Andy, and here he is.
Hi,
Hello,
Andy.
my love. Um, it's all right. I was talking about you, all good.
All good
But
stuff.
yeah,
All good stuff.
I mean, I mean, you wouldn't. I mean, you meet everybody, right? Like me meeting you, me meeting Sam,
Yep,
Jackie, whoever, Vonnie, whoever, right? I always introduce myself. I think it's only fair that you do introduce yourself
of
because
course.
you just don't get into these places and say, right, I'm here to investigate. Right, what's your name? That's
Well,
what it's. See,
of
if
course,
somebody came in at me like that, I would tell them, Paul.
especially if you were going into somebody's home, actually, you know, because they would just. It's no wonder a lot of teams get told to get out.
Mm,
Do you know, it's just one of the ones. Like, well, I suppose you're not always going to not get told to get out, but that seems to be a favourite term, a
oh
favourite
God, the
phrase,
amount of
isn't it?
times
It's like get
even
out, get
introducing
out.
myself
I
that I've
mean,
been told
I know
F
it's
off
just,
and oh God.
um, but that one, the team actually Spirit Vision, they apologise, Scotland's Paranormal group, Kaylee's group, they got EVPs and one was Help Me, and another, but it sounded almost like Heaven Help Me or someone or Hello Help Me. You know, there was definitely something at the beginning of Help Me, but it's just fascinating, actually fascinating that place. Um,
I told you it wouldn't be a disappointment. I
no,
was chuffed to see if he's came back and tell me he's got nothing. I would have been well gobsmacked.
well,
There,
January, myself and Sam. Sorry, Jax.
Jack says there was a fire and he was involved in it. There was kids lost and the female spirit caused havoc in the loft looking for them. I'm not sure if the man was connected to the women or he was involved in the fire too. He had a reason for not passing over. I just wasn't skilled enough to find out or help.
Jax, have you actually went to development classes? Because I think really you seem to be kind of connected to quite a few spirits there, and I would definitely go down the lines of development classes.
Andy says always
100%.
polite to Spirit. Oh, aye, 100%. I mean, as I said, you know, I always am, and don't get me wrong, I have had my fair cheek of Spirit. You know, I went to Stirling Jail, and it was so funny that, you know, what came through in the EVP, I was actually crying with laughter, and I couldn't do the next EVP because it was just too funny. What it was, guys, I was in Stirling Jail, and I felt fine at the bottom. Felt absolutely fine. Got to the top. Felt as though I was getting sedated. I'm like, I don't feel right, and I thought maybe I've just not ate much that day. So I went back down the stairs, felt fine. Thought, okay, that's a bit weird. Went back up again. Not, I really don't feel right. And I says to the people that were with me, I just don't feel right. I feel as though maybe someone was getting sedated up here.
Mhm.
I said, because it's just, I go down the stairs, it's like I feel great. I come back up the stairs and I feel, oh my god. Right? So I did the EVP. Hi, my name's Louise. I'm paranormal investigator researcher. Can I just ask, Spirit, was MD sedated up here? So stops the tape because it's the EVP that I've always wanted. It's the Panasonic. I can't even remember the rest of the name of it, but it's great. Kraken
Yep.
EVP. And Peter, I'll never forget Peter. He always stands out to me. This guy was just great, and he used to stand there and go like that to me. But that was telling me that the spirit was talking to me because this EVP picked up. What it used to
Right.
do was it was a wee silver thing like about that in hand palm, right? And I
Yep.
had this wee red thingy, like the wee red button, and if it started flashing, that meant the spirit was talking. So that was
Right.
going off, right? So I was like, ah, great, okay. So gave that long pause, let it respond, turned it off, turned it back on. Now, I don't know if anybody else is the same, but I hate my voice in EVP. So I was speaking. Next thing it came through, F you, what was it, F you, ya be?
For
And
God's sake.
I, oh, do you know, I went in a howling. I was absolutely, tears were flowing. Everybody was the same. We were all crying with laughter. I tried to do a second EVP and I just couldn't because
For
it had
laughing.
erupted the full place. So it took us half an hour, so got myself all composed again. Apologised to Spirit, said, look, Spirit, I'm really sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you because of what you've said. Oh, it was a cracking night. I've had my good spirit where my good spirit gives me good answers, and then
Yep.
I've had the spirit where I've been called everything but the kitchen sink.
My God. And still, oh God, I'm getting that feedback sometimes again. But aye, sometimes when you just go on investigation, you really don't know what to expect. Bonnie, I'm interested in becoming a witch.
Which I really like the way they work, blend together many of their benefits, sorry, beliefs too.
Beliefs.
It's knowing where to start. We'll have to pin you down, Lois. Only if it's with handcuffs.
Wrong show. Wrong show. I'm in the wrong show. Oh.
Jacqueline will kill me.
So,
But
the team, we're off to, we're going to the Mermaid Inn in Rye in January. Well, it'll be myself and Sam that are going down.
Andy's just heard a male voice talking at the top of me.
Do you know what it is? That's what I'm saying. It's like the feedback I'm getting sometimes off myself just seems to be kind of, it's not happening all the time, but it does sound, there's been a couple of times where it has been like it does sound like a voice.
Listen, it's probably a spirit turning round and saying, would you shut up and stop talking a load of... Vonnie says, she did the right thing, Jax. If you do not feel confident or skilled enough, contact somebody that can gain knowledge. I was put in a situation like this not so long back and I declined to attend. Fair play to you.
Mm-hmm.
Jack says, I've always been told to and I would love to. Some things
Always
always
get in the
go
way.
in the
I'm
way.
totally
I'd love
relate with
to
that.
join you guys one day and find out more about development. I've had amazing feedback from private readings, but always been scared to develop more. I suppose it's because how it could be viewed and I've always doubted my ability. What I would say to that one is I was the same as you, Jack. So, you know, I was always scared, and I suppose like being round the likes of Andy Jones, Barry, John, and things like that, that's brought my confidence on, because where I used to, you know, doubt myself in that, I've been that kind of way where, you know, it's that yon way where I've always been more
Yeah.
back than
There
front.
it goes
But
again.
since I've done the development courses and spoke to people and that, I've actually started to come out my shell. So don't you worry, Jax. I'll actually check, because I did development classes, so I'll see if there is room. I'll speak to Barry John.
Yep, and also Sam's starting to develop hers as well.
Aye.
And Jordan on our team, he's self-developing because he's gifted. And he'll totally relate with what Jax is saying, because for all his years, he's had a set of cards and he's kept it in his drawer for maybe a decade. Never really bothered with them because it was never the right time. And since meeting myself and coming to the spiritualist night and meeting Sharon and the rest of the mediums, he had the confidence to then bring the cards out, and he's actually developing his cell. He's understanding the cards. But these cards are very, very rare, and he's really trying to develop himself. He's trying to learn the cards himself, so that then he can then go to development and try and increase his abilities, because it's there to be done. It's just it's not always, as Jack says, it's not always the right time.
And he says he loves working with witches. He
Good.
works with me, so I'm a witch. A witch in both senses. Barry John has good, but his feedback, please, I'd be so grateful. No problem.
Yeah, anything to help,
Eh,
Jax.
and then, yeah, I've rebooted it, it's gone now. No problem. But yeah, you know, I love it. I mean, this is why I don't, if I'm going out to somewhere, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Calvin. I if I go out somewhere, right? If say it's a total new place, I don't do research, because I find I'm getting that way where I want to use my senses more.
Yeah.
So like that time we went out to um. Thank you very much for popping in, Andy. It's
Thanks, Andy.
appreciated.
Thank you.
Bye. That time we went to that castle with Jacqueline.
Fascinating.
I didn't research her or nothing, and do you know what? I preferred that method. I don't research it. Even if I did try and research it, what I find when I used to do research for the first ever team that I'd done, well, that I worked with, there's no much. There's sometimes you can go out to places
Yeah.
and there's thousands of information, and then there's other places that you go out to and there's very, very fine minimum. You would be absolutely at the bottom of the sea trying to get info.
Of course, exactly. I mean, I found that myself. I mean, I'm as psychic as a brick, so I don't really get any senses. The odd time I'll get a feeling, but no, I'm definitely not going to tune in because there's nothing going to happen. But that time we went to that castle and you picked up in the baby, the lady rocking the baby, and then you walked over to the window, and to find out by myself and Sam that the lady did go out the window with the baby in her arms, and that spirit's still seen to this day in that castle. That was quite fascinating.
I
Um,
mean, as I said, I don't believe in research, you know, now, because I really do want to get in touch with that side of my senses. And as I said, I'd never ever done research in the castle. But it was absolutely, it was really good. That night was brilliant. It's the best,
was good.
I think, best investigation I've ever done, and it was all females.
It
So
was just a
it was
lovely
a really
atmosphere.
good
It really
night.
was. It was a great atmosphere, and of course, none of us had met.
That was in the joys there, and we just
Aye.
clicked. Oh, just clicked. Vonnie, I would love to sit in a forest and listen. I think we would get plenty.
I think we
think
were
we would.
almost at that. I think when we went to that castle, we kind of were like that, just sitting in the middle of nowhere.
How awesome would that be? That would be absolutely awesome. Do you know, I think, see, sometimes, see, rather than using equipment and having all the noise round about us,
Yeah,
see if we all just sat down and actually
listened,
listened to
listened.
what was going on about us in the silence, because sometimes you can hear more in silence than you've got with REM pods going off and music. Sorry, my voice is beginning to go, guys. And you know, like REM pods going off, you know, K2 no
That's
K2
right.
meters, but all the machines that go off. I much prefer just sometimes sitting down and having that chill time and just listening, because you can get more for listening in silence than you do when everything's going on in the background. You even get a bat
I
free.
know, I know. I generally think it is important to just sit. Sorry, I'm getting so much feedback here. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know if it's because I'm on my phone. So I generally just to be in a location and sit, because you hear all these noises and you don't know if these noises are natural. So if you have that quiet time, you get to hear it. Sorry, that was I missed that comment there.
Sorry, it's Tracy. Hi, Tracy. Hi, guys. Have been told Ravenscraig Hospital, Greenock may be worth a visit.
Right? Well, I never realised that.
Need to have a look at pictures of that one.
We'll have a look into that, Tracy. We get enough of
Bonnie, we
development.
get enough of development and we use nothing, just our own senses.
Perfect.
Exactly, Bonnie. But I'm pretty much in the sense of, you know, I would rather just sit sometimes, and do you know what? I'm quite the person. I don't know about everybody else, but I love going by the sea and just listening.
Are you booked into the baths to come with us, Lois?
I am,
Good. That will be a great
because
night.
I'll be at college by then, and I'll be agency, so it's like I can move around. I'm looking forward to it, actually, the baths.
There's 20
Bonnie's
of us going in.
how many is
20.
20? Oh, round
Public.
number.
It's a public investigation, so and Tracy, she's coming as well.
Oh, it'd be good to see Tracy.
Yeah.
Um,
I think we
I am
do,
sure
Vaughn.
we do miss too much. Love the sound of the sea, and Tracy says a few people refuse to go into it. Oh, sounds
We'll
obvious.
definitely need to look into that one.
But yeah, the problem is I do find that we do miss too much. But I don't know about everybody else, and please feel free to comment, but I find that when we're doing investigations, we're too wrapped up in the investigations that we always miss. Like, when something happens, something else could be happening and we're missing it, and it isn't till we're reviewing the evidence, like
Yep.
the next
Aye.
day, that we pick up. And I find that, I, do you know, I never thought it until actually I stayed at yours, but sometimes I think, you know, when we're in that moment and our brains are like everywhere, right, thinking, right, what are we going to do next, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Then it's that way where we end up saying, missing stuff, but it isn't until we actually review the footage that we find that that's what we've missed. And I find doing that more. So
hmm
you've taught me doing that, actually reviewing
Going
the
over the
thing.
footage. Oh God,
Aye.
sorry, that's
Oh,
quite bad.
here we're joined by the gorgeous one.
Thanks very much, Lois. You've just gave me a
You
complex.
you are the gorgeous one, and oh,
Oh,
come
kidding
on,
on.
don't get
Where is she?
jealous.
Where is she?
I'm here.
Here she is, Samuel.
Hello, Sam.
How are you, my love?
Oh, I'm fine. I've just finished my work.
Oh, my wee lamb. Thank
So,
you for joining us.
Of course, I said I'd pop on when I got home for as long as I could. So I've missed
Well,
it. What you've been talking about?
we we were speaking about you. I said how much a pain in the jacks, yeah, and
I
you
could.
know
My
what?
ears were
Shirley
burning. I
said
could believe
she
that.
totally agreed with me. Nah,
Aye,
you've not as
100%.
much.
You tried to come on there when you were at work, but before you left.
Aye, and it didn't
Aye.
work.
My wee love. Jacqueline did say that she'd pop in at some point, but I think she maybe been a wee caught up. But I, I agree. Noise is all irritating. So Sam, we've had Shelley explain right about herself. For the benefit of everybody, can you tell everybody a bit about yourself?
Oh, you're brave.
Oh, I'm very brave.
Well, I'm Sam. I am
Hi,
part
Ben.
of Paranormal Footprints. I am a paranormal investigator, but also like to research as well. I'm the quiet one.
No, she's
Yeah.
not.
Shelley, she kidding us on.
Johnny's the quiet one.
Johnny's the mute
Aye.
man. No, I am the quiet one. I'm very quiet and very reserved. And I
Right.
don't swear.
She talks mince.
No, I got into the paranormal when I was really, really young. I used to really like getting scared, to be fair. And then it just sort of grew from there. And we were part of another team that didn't quite work out. And we decided to go alone. And that is how Paranormal Footprints was born. And we have just risen and risen and risen like a phoenix from the ashes.
Aye. It's really good to have. I mean, actually, we're quite lucky, Sam, aren't we? Because we started as a team and we never realised.
Tracy Smith, I do not tell fibs a lot.
We never realised how good this team is going to be. Just not so much like how good the team is going to be, but the team that we've got, the people that we've got in the team. You know, we're really, really lucky to have such a great team, and we've got a great bunch of supporters out there as well.
There's no
Like-
bosses, nobody's in control. There's no, I'm this, I'm that. There's nothing like that. We're all equal. We've all got a say. If a decision's to be
Can I
made,
just
we'll all
ask
make
you
it.
guys? I'm fascinated, right? Oh,
Mhm.
there's Jacqueline in the comments. There's
Hello,
Jacqueline in the
Jacqueline.
comments. Hello,
Hi,
Mrs.
Jacqueline.
Right. I'm fascinated, right? How did you come up with the name Paranormal Footprints? Because it's one of the ones that is quite catchy. Who came up with it, guys?
It was actually Sam. We
Me,
brainstormed it. And I'm sorry, but I couldn't disagree with that. That was a good name, and it just
Paranormal Footprint. See, because we were like paranormal, ghost, blah, 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 trying to get a name that sort of fit, but we wanted to be kind of different for everybody else, but at the same time, no too different. So we wanted that out there. So we stuck with paranormal, and then it's like paranormal explorers, paranormal what? And then we're like, what about footprints? Because
of
at the
course-
end of the day, you're stepping in the footprints of legends.
That's exactly what we think. And it was Johnny that done the logo because he does the graphic designs, and he done the logo for us. And he's forever
Mhm.
trying to change it.
And we won't
But we
let him.
don't want him. We don't want him to change it.
No, he's not changing it.
He actually did graphic designs well before I had to change my name due to somebody else having the same name. But you know, it was he did the designs for me, and I was really, really impressed with Johnny. He was actually really, really.
Yes, he's good.
His designs was really, really good.
He went on to a winner when he designed our logo.
We quite
And
like
it's
it
just
because it
that-
stands out.
As you know, and I love his designs. And do you know, for the mute man, he's really good.
He has really good these designs, and he has got a lot of good ideas and stuff like that. So we're definitely lucky to have him. And then also Sharon and yourself, and then we've got.
I don't know about that Lois right enough.
I know that Lois is off a border. I wouldn't hire her.
She makes me bloody drive to East Dunbartonshire.
Hello,
I know,
Forest.
thinks it's in Glasgow.
That was a journey.
Listen, Jacqueline's left me in charge tonight. I think that's been a moment.
You'll be fine. You're
I
doing
think
fine.
I think you've done quite well, Lois.
Jack says she's so glad that she came across us.
Oh,
Oh.
Sam's chats.
And then Ronnie says, bit dodgy that Lois.
It
Very.
is. It is very. Steal a sugar
Wanted
out your tea.
poster.
So
So
I'm
what's the
trying.
plans for the future, guys?
Oh, we've got lots of plans, haven't we, Sam? We're going to have. We've got the investigation in January. That's in Rye with Charlotte Underwood.
Mm-hmm.
February, we're going to the Victory Baths. And we've got a public investigation there. Nothing planned for March as yet. Possibly doing another fundraiser. April, what we've got in April, we've got the
The vault.
Underground Vaults. We've got Spirit Vision coming up. Charlie and Rocks for the Haunted Hunts should be coming, hopefully, crossing my fingers. And who else, Sam? Who else is coming to that?
We've got Spirit Vision. We've got Charlie and Rocks. I think we've got Sharon and Louise and things. John.
Forest Faces,
John's
hopefully
coming
you'll
as
be
well.
meeting us too at some point.
Forrest, if we don't meet you at some point, I'm generally going to fall out with you. It's long overdue. It's long overdue. Forrest has got a team called Ghost Botherers. You'll find them on Facebook, her and John. Lovely, lovely people. Lovely people.
Do you know I actually love that name as well, Ghostbusters.
Aye. And they were the same. They were trying to find something that's different. Disturbing the peace.
What's happened to my Sam?
She disappeared.
Vonnie says, we'd love to meet up with your group next year. That would be great, Vonnie. I
Von.
would love nothing more than that, Vonnie.
That would be fantastic, definitely. I'm all in for meeting other teams. It's a big thing for us to meet other teams because not only are you learning and you're meeting new people, it's just a great way of it's a great way of networking. I love it. That's how when we were out with that other team the other night, Spirit. God, I keep going to say Spirit Vision. I do apologise. Scotland's Paranormal Investigation Group. Go check them out on Facebook. We were with them on Tuesday night, and it was so refreshing. They were lovely people, and they knew exactly what they were doing, and they were respectful. It was just great, and see people working like that. I like to be able to work with different people who are like that, like-minded, work the same way.
I'm the same. I mean, I've when I first started out, this team, that first team I was ever with, the owner was quite funny because he didn't like you being out with other teams and that.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, when I went on my cell and freelanced and things like that, it was great to meet other teams. Oh God, do we let her in or do we kick her? I think we'll just let her in. Oh, I says,
Aye.
there's my darling. I better let her in.
Aye, let her in her fucking kicker.
Did I say?
Yes.
Did I say that? Oh
Aye.
goodness gracious. But no, I do. That's why I love being able to freelance as well. Get to meet other teams. I get to work with you guys, and meet new people and things like that. And I think that's what the paranormal should be about.
Meeting new friends. That's exactly it. That are interested in the same stuff that you are. Because as you know, there's a lot of people out there, they'll say they like it, but then there's a lot of people out there that will say, oh, I don't believe in that, Ken. It's not even real. Yous are off your heads. Sorry, that's a pure Glasgow term. You're off your heads.
That's
And
alright. Listen, there'll be many folk out there that, especially, I always found that Americans love the Scottish accent. I've got a friend that goes absolutely crazy every time she hears my voice and wants me to sing her happy birthday every year.
oh God, love that.
It's the same with teams as well, like backstab each other and stuff like that. There's no need for any of that. At the end of the day, you're all in it for the same goal.
Absolutely no.
There should be no he said, she said, I did, that did. It shouldn't be like that. Part of unity.
Definitely,
Yeah.
and it is. It's about working with each other, and
Yeah.
it's about obviously, proving what we're proving, and I absolutely love it. And do you know what? I always say to myself, I should have done this years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We did try, didn't we? We were going to go with a team, and it was Gordon Jeffers, run by a guy called Gordon Jeffers. But at that time, it just wasn't the right time. I could never get a babysitter because it was always maybe the weekend, or maybe I was working because I worked at the pubs and stuff like that. And I felt gutted because we just couldn't get out. And then eventually, then we started going with different teams, like Go Seeker Scotland.
Most haunted.
We went with the Most Haunted Events team because we were just that desperate to get out. We were just that desperate to go and investigate, and then we went and we joined the team that we were with prior to Paranormal Footprints. And we did get out and do some investigations, and that was good. And actually being with that team, it kind of gave us a wee bit more confidence doing lives and stuff like that we would never have done. So we did learn through the 6 months that we were with them, but then it was time to fly for the both of us, and we just decided, no, that's it. Let's go ourselves and do it right.
I mean, I've been the same, I wouldn't be where I am without Jacqueline, because it was Jacqueline that gave me the confidence to do what I'm doing just now, and it's gave me the confidence to then say, you guys, why don't we do it? Because do you know what?
Yeah.
Because I used to, a long time ago, I would have never been able to do this, and I have done the odd live in my groups and things like that. I used to do it, but I get dead nervous at the thought of doing it. But see now, I mean, working with Jacqueline every Thursday, it's gave me the confidence that I will be honest, guys, I was absolutely breaking the night and getting myself into a tizzy thinking, oh my god, I don't know the buttons, I'm going to put it somewhere else, it's not even going to go where it should be, and I had an absolute nightmare, and Jacqueline, God love her, phoned me the night to give me words of wisdom, and
God love you, Jacqueline.
she was absolutely brilliant, and do you know what? I feel great doing this because it's giving me the confidence I can do it.
Aye, you've done a great job.
Even for like a couple of months back, Lois, to now, you're like completely different, confidence-wise.
I tell you what, it must be the influence you guys have got on me.
Well, we love having you on the team.
Especially that Sam.
I blame Sam.
No, we love having you on the team. It's really good.
They're on the line. They're on live. He's shouting in the background. It's got nothing to do with Sam. It must be Sam because it's not man because I'm shy as hell. I was like, I'm on a live.
That's alright. I was doing a live. Well, look at you guys last week. I was doing a live with you. I had Tommy Lee at the door going, Mom.
That's
Well, I had to do that. My child with my other daughter there doing dress up and makeups downstairs.
I can only imagine. Vonnie says, totally agree, Sam. I can't be doing with any of the drama. I step back and leave them to it.
There's too much going on in the world to focus on stuff like that. At the end of the day, you're out for the same thing. Why not just...
Sorry,
Forrest, that is it. Get your flight taxi for Forrest.
Forrest will tell you how many times I've asked her to get up here. Like actual...
Every time she says that she's not got another job, I'm like, on you go, come on.
Hi, Paranormal Nation Radio.
Hello.
Hi.
But, I mean, honestly, and guys, before we go, we'll do the tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we're back again. We've got Louisa and Ben, who are a couple of demonologists. Paranormal Footprints, guys, check us out, 9 to 10.
Yep, we'll be there. We'll be together asking questions, Lois.
I'm going
to start getting confused. This is the first time I've ever had questions asked. I've never been on the receiving end. It feels so strange.
Listen, you guys have been my lifesavers tonight.
Oh. Sam's been working at the hospital all day, so she's been a lifesaver all day.
Somebody needs to come and save my life.
Give me the defibs. I'll have a shot of them. We've got Forrest. I'm unemployable for the best reason. No one can appreciate my personality.
100%.
Definitely not, Forrest.
be
watching. They're amazing.
Watching, they're amazing.
Keep
They're
me
great
shouting about.
technologists. They are
I'm
very
trying to be alive, and
fascinating.
he's shouting about Curry Boz. He keeps forgetting we're on a live, and he's shouting like Curry Boz at Cochin.
That's,
Yeah.
that's all right. If he wants to do advertising for Catherine, that's absolutely fine.
With a Curry Boz.
So yeah, tomorrow night's going to be very good, very interesting. It's got a lot of interest for tomorrow night, so we're really looking forward to that.
And I'm looking forward to the week after as well.
Yes.
It will be really interesting. Oh, we've got a question, you guys. So, what's your favourite hunt to date, chums?
Chums for it. You can go first, Sam, obviously.
How?
Because you've not been talking as much.
Oh.
You're just doing.
Well, I'm a stickler for Edinburgh. I love Edinburgh. It wasn't so much as a hunt, but when we took the tour to Edinburgh,
yep,
that was something special. That was something different. But my favourite or best hunt to date has got to be the one we done on Tuesday.
Oh, I know. I mean, aye.
I'm not taking anything away for anybody that we've been with and been out with, but that on Tuesday was up there with one of the best, if not the best to date.
I
totally agree. What more can you ask for? A haunted asylum, a really good team, and evidence to back it up. The experiments we were doing was absolutely fantastic, and the evidence that was coming through doing the experiments was brilliant.
We done the blind spirit box, and at the end point, me and Johnny were actually having an argument with each other, like with two different spirits.
At one point, it said, "He's here." Then Sam said, Johnny said, "He's here." Then Sam said, behind you. And then just at that, all this rubble get moved, and Riga, he jumped towards me, and then because he got a fright, and then walked towards the room, looked in, and just at that, Johnny, with the blindfold and earphones in, said, "In the room." So it really, really validated and backed up what the experience that we had.
Aye,
you can't beat the moments. But
I think I brought the nun through. Hi, Kaylee.
Hi, Kaylee. What we'll do, guys, we'll call it for the night. But thank you very much for coming on, guys.
Our pleasure.
Welcome. And sorry I was working. I got my dates mixed up.
That's all right. You owe me.
Oh, I'm sure I do.
But guys, thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming on, guys. You have been absolutely wonderful. Thank you to everybody for your comments.
Yep.
Who's viewed everything. We always appreciate it, guys. And we will catch you next week. Well, I'll catch you next week and catch you tomorrow. Remember, guys, if you want to see us tomorrow again, it'll be Paranormal Footprints, 9 to 10 with Ben and Louisa. So, can't wait, guys. But you all have a good night and stay creepy.
Thank you.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.